Hello everyone, I am Prajwal. Today we are going to see a very important Java program, that is Java matrix multiplication program. Okay, so we are going to see how we can get two matrices as input from the user and how we can perform multiplication operation and display the result. Okay, we are going to do this in Java. Okay, now what I thought is, instead of using many matrices, if we effectively apply the object concept here, the program will be much simpler. Okay, so let me go to Excel to explain what I'm exactly meaning. So I'll go to Excel. Okay, nice. Okay, listen very carefully. What I'm going to do is, I'm going to create a class product. Okay, I'm going to create a class product. In this product, I will initialize three variables. One is int r. This is going to store rows, number of rows. Another, let me just write rows. Okay, this is going to store rows. Int c, this is going to store columns. A double dimensional matrix M, this is going to store the matrix. Is that clear? This is going to store the double dimensional matrix. Just a minute. I should not leave unnecessary spaces. Just a minute. Right here itself. Yeah. Okay. Now what I'm going to do is, next I'm going to have a default constructor. I'm going to have a constructor called product. The product constructor is going to get two variables as input. Okay. So the person, the user has to 1 minute, just a minute. The user, while creating an object, has to give two variables as parameter. That is x, he has to give number of rows, and y, he has to give number of columns. So inside this constructor, we'll initialize that r is equal to x, c is equal to y, and then we can initialize the double dimensional matrix. Okay, so this is going to be the default constructor of this matrix. Then we are going to have a function called feed. Okay, we are going to have a void feed function. This feed function will input the matrix from the user. Okay, so this feed function is going to get the matrix itself as input from the user. Okay, so these are all the variables that are used. Yeah, just a minute. Yeah. Now what we are going to do is, we'll have feed function. After feed function, I will also have a void display function that will help me to display the matrix. So whatever matrix is there, we will display it. Then what I'm going to do is, I will have another function to multiply, void multiply. Okay, void multiply. This function is going to perform the multiplication operation. Okay, we'll see how multiplication happens. All that we'll see later. For now, I'm just going to show how this class looks. And then we'll also have a void main function. Okay, we'll also have a void main function. Is that clear? So this is how the class is going to look like. This is the class structure. Now, as I told you, we are going to effectively use the object concept. Let me try to explain. Just a minute. Yeah. Now, I am going to now create three objects. Okay. This is going to be object A. This is going to be object B. And this is going to be object C. See, each object will have its own set of variables, its own functions. See, each object is going to have all of this. Each object will have its own set of variables, own set of functions. Okay. What I'm going to do is, I am going to initialize A and B on my own. Like I'll write object A is going to be new, not object. The name of the class is product, right? So product A will be new product of whatever, new product of number of dimensions. Let me think that some dimensions I'll give. Okay, it's not important now. Maybe I'm giving dimensions as 2, 3. Then here what I'll do, here I'll initialize another product. B is going to be equal to new product of, let me give it as 3, 2 this time. Product of 3, 2. So I'm going to write these statements in the main function. We'll see all that later. So I have created two products. For the product C, what I'm going to do is, I'll also write product C is going to be new product of. Now, what should I write here? So if you have studied matrices, resultant matrix dimension will be nothing but this and this. This will be resultant matrix property. See, it's going to be 2, 2. Okay. So like this, I'm going to create three matrices and keep it aside. Not matrices. I'm not creating three matrices. Three objects I'm going to create. Each of the object has its own matrix. Okay. This is going to be A dot M. This is going to be B dot M. And this is going to be equal to C dot M. Then what I'll do is I will write a dot feed, which means the feed function corresponding to the object A will get invoked. Now this function is going to get input from user and store it in this matrix. Okay. So if I write a dot feed, just a minute. If I write this a dot feed, this function will get invoked and this matrix is going to get filled. Okay. You understand what is happening? A dot feed will invoke this feed function and fill this matrix. Then what I'll do is, then I invoke this b dot feed. B dot feed, what is going is, it is going to invoke this feed function and this matrix will be filled. Okay. So I have to do b dot fill also. Let me write it. So we have to write b dot feed. Then what I'll do is, but for C I am not going to do feed because C is the resultant matrix. These are the two input matrix objects. This is going to store the resultant matrix. For this, what I'm going to do is I will write C dot multiply. I'll write C dot multiply, and inside I'm going to give A comma B. Listen carefully. Inside multiply, I should give the objects. Listen very carefully. I'll try to explain this. 1 minute. Yeah. Listen carefully. While performing the multiplication operation, what exactly we are doing is, when I'm going to invoke this, here I will provide this object. This object, see this object, I will give pass as parameter here. This object also I will pass as parameter here. Now this function will look at the matrices in this. It will look at this and this. This is going to be A dot M. This will be B dot M. And it will store the resultant object in this matrix. Resultant matrix, it will multiply and store it in this. So this is going to be C dot M. Is it clear? This is what I'm exactly going to do. Finally, what I'll do? Finally, what I can do is in the main function, that we will be writing, I'll write A dot display, then I'll write B dot display, then I'll write C dot display. That's it. I'll display the first matrix, I'll display second matrix, then I'll also show the displayed result. So this is exactly what we are going to do in this program. Okay, this is what we are going to do in the program. So I hope the concept of this program is now very clear. I'll just do a revision. We'll create 3 objects: object A, object B, object C. We will put feed for first object. We'll put feed for second object also. For third object, we'll pass the first and second object as parameters and we'll multiply it. The multiply function, see, A, B also has multiply function, but we are not going to invoke multiply function from this or this because this is the input objects. We will invoke the multiply function from this multiply function we are going to invoke. We write C dot multiply, we'll pass objects as parameters and the multiplication result will be stored here. Finally, if you write C dot display, this matrix will display. Display function will display the matrix which is present in its object. This display will display this matrix. This display will display this matrix. This display will display this matrix. Okay. So finally, the three functions, the three objects will display the 3 corresponding matrices present in its own object. Okay. Is this clear? Okay. I hope you understand. First, we'll write the class. Okay. So to code, I'll use Eclipse software. Okay. Let me just open the software just a minute. First, I will write the basics. Then we will try to understand how to encode the multiplication operation. That we'll do at last. Okay. First, we'll try to understand how to write all the other functions in correct order. Yeah, just a minute. It's loading. Yeah. So now I'll just open. I already had created a class of a project called program PGM. Yeah, here I'll create a new class called product. As I told you, the class name I'm writing is product. So PROUDU. Okay, product something. Product. So this class product is now created. Let's just wait for the it's loaded. Okay. So always I have to import scanner class because a lot of user input I'm getting. Now what I'm going to do is, see, first I'll take the 3 variables. The 3 variables int r, int c, int m. Int r, store number of rows. Int c, store number of columns, intem, store, matrix. Okay, 3 variables I've created. Now I'm going to write a default constructor. The constructor, okay, it is going to get 2 parameters. See, product x comma y. And what I'll do? X is what? X will be number of rows. So I'll initialize R as X. So I initialize number of rows. Then C is going to be Y. Initialize number of columns. Then what I'm going to do? I'll initialize a 2-dimensional matrix also. M is going to be new int of R comma C. Okay. So initialize matrix. Is that clear? This is the constructor. So we have to initialize all the variables before we try to use it. Okay. Is it clear? Next, what we have to do? We have to write the feed function. Okay. So void feed function. Let's write this feed function. Void feed. So I'll tell the user, please enter the elements of your matrix below. Now what I'm going to do? Now I have to loop through the 2-dimensional matrix. So I think looping of 2-dimensional matrix is a very basic concept. I'll write for the outer for loop to represent the rows. This is inner for loop to represent columns. Okay. Here I have a very unique style of feeding. What I'll do is I'll write system.out.println print enter element at position. Okay. Now what I'll fill here? Here I should show that position is 0, 0. So I is the row number. Also show the column number. Okay. So when it is 0, 0, it will come enter element at position 0, 0. When it is 1, 1, it will come enter element at position 1, 1. Suppose it is a 4, 3, it will come as enter element at position 4, 3. So it's a very neat way of displaying. I like to do very neat programs. Okay. Then what we'll do? You have to write m of I, j. It's going to be sc dot next int. Oops, I forgot to initialize scanner class. Okay, no problem. I'll create a scanner class object here. See, scanner sc is going to be new scanner of system dot in. Is the scanner class object. What I'll do? Get input from user. So if this happens, the entire matrix is going to get filled. That's it. Okay. This is what I have to do. And also, it's advisable that you close the scanner class always. Okay. So here I have to close the scanner class. See, this is a scanner class object. See, this is not it's not compulsory. You can also omit it if you want, but it's always better to close it. Okay. So this is all the feed function. What I'm doing? I'm just constantly asking for user input, and I'm getting user input here. So each element of the matrix is going to get filled. Okay. This is the void feed function. So this is the function to fill matrix with user input. Okay. Next, what we'll do? Next, we'll write the display function. Okay. Display function is very, very direct. So function to display matrix. How we can display matrix? Void display. What I'll do? I'll write what I can do for int I is 0, I less than r, I plus plus. For int j is 0, j less than c, j plus plus. System.out.print. I'm not adding print ln because it should print in just one row. Print m of ij, and also put a tab space. Okay, you can even put a space, but if you put tab space, it will have a better spacing. Okay, then after every row, I should also put a out.println so that you can go to the next row. This is all about displaying the matrix. Okay, so nothing but basics of displaying a 2-dimensional matrix. 2-dimensional array. How to display? We are just writing the function to display it. Okay, I don't think I have to do much of explanation in this. Next, we have to write multiply function. What we have to write? We have to write multiply function. The multiplication function I have not yet explained, so we'll write the multiplication function at the end. Okay, so function to perform multiplication. See, this function we'll write at the end. Okay, so we'll write at the end. We'll write later. After this, what we have to do? We have to write the main function. Correct? Let's write the main function. Come. Main function I have to write public static, okay, because main function always has to be public static void main, otherwise the interpreter will not recognize it. So this is going to be the main function. Main function. So what I have to do? Let me just give an introduction. System.out.println Java matrix multiplication. Now listen very carefully. If I have to invoke this constructor, I told you that now I have to, these are just examples. These are just examples. All this I should get as user input. These are not what I already know. So I need to get this number of rows of first matrix, number of columns of second matrix, number of rows of second matrix, number of columns of second matrix. All this has to be user input. So I need to get 4 variables as user input. Let me first do that. So system. So first I'll create a scanner class. Scanner sc is new scanner of system.in. This is going to be scanner class object. Then what I'll do? System.out.println. Just take print. Not println is not required. Enter number of rows of first matrix. Then what I'll do? Int r1 is sc dot next int. Clear? So I've got the number of rows of first matrix as input. Okay. I'll do the same thing. System.out.print. Enter number of columns of first matrix. First matrix. Int c1 is going to be sc dot next int. And what I'll do? System.out.print. Enter number of rows of second matrix. What I can do? Int r2 is going to be equal to sc dot next int. Then what I'll do? System.out.print. Enter number of columns of second matrix. What I'll do? Int c2 will be sc dot next int. So we have got all the 4 variables that we require. See, these are just examples. We have to get it as user input. We have to get this as user input. Now we have all the variables in our hand. Okay, now very important. As you all know, matrix property. See, matrix multiplication is only possible if this 3 and this 3 are equal. That is, number of columns of the first matrix has to definitely be equal to number of rows of the second matrix. If these are not equal, matrix multiplication is not possible. I think you are aware of this fact. So what we'll do is, before we are doing anything else, we'll put a condition. If C1 is not going to be equal to R2, see, if it is not equal, what I'm going to do is, here in this case, multiplication is not possible. Then what I'll do? I'll put an error, system.out.println. Multiplication is not possible as the number of columns of the first matrix must be equal to the number of rows of the second matrix. Okay. Then what I'm going to do is system.exit. Exit of 1. See, what is the meaning of system.exit? If I write system.exit, it will exit from the program. That is, if this statement is invoked, even if I write anything, suppose even, so let's imagine I'm writing a system.out.println hi. Suppose this condition is false, it will come and print hi directly. If this condition is true, it is going to go inside the if, this will get printed, and because it's reaching this, directly the compiler, the interpreter, what it will do is, from here, it will go out of the program. It won't even reach here. So this is the idea of writing system.exit. System.exit is a kind of a break statement. In for loop, you will write break. Similarly, if you want to exit from the full function, you will write system.exit of 1. Okay. We don't want the compiler to proceed because we know that definitely multiplication is not possible. Okay. Is it clear? Okay. So here what I'm going to do is, now if the compiler reaches this place, it means multiplication is possible. If this line is reached. So if this line is reached, multiplication is definitely possible. Okay. Now we are going to perform multiplication. What I told you, we have to create 3 objects, correct? We have to create 3 objects. Let's create 3 objects. Product A will be new product of R1, C1. Product B will be new product of R2, C2. Now product C. Okay, product C will be new product of. Can you guess what you have to fill here? What I told you. Resultant matrix dimension is going to be equal to this and this. R1 and C2. Okay, this is the resultant matrix property. R1, C2. See, suppose I'm having a matrix. Let us say you're having matrix of dimension 2 into 5. Another here I'm having 5 into 3. So here multiplication is possible because this 5 is equal to this 3. Resultant matrix will be a 2 into 3 matrix, right? It will be a 2 into 3 matrix. This is the resultant dimension property. That's what I'm applying here. Okay. So this is input object 1. This is going to be input object 2. And this will be output object. I'm creating 3 objects. After this, what I'm going to do? Wait, what I'll do is after this, I'll put a system.out.println. Let me do some beautification. I will leave a line here. Here, what I'll do? Here, I'll also write bye. I'll have to give a finishing touch to my program. That's way, okay. Now, what I'm going to do is system.out.println matrix A. Then what I'll write? Then I'll write A dot feed. See, I have to write A dot feed. Feed matrix in object A with user input. Okay, understand? So we have now encoded this function. If you write A dot feed, then feed function corresponding to this object will get invoked and this matrix will get filled. You understand? Then what I'll do? Then for beauty I'll leave one line. Then I'll write system.out.println matrix B. Then write B dot feed. Feed matrix stored in feed. Okay, feed matrix in object B with user input. That's it. Then leave another line. Now look very carefully. Now I have to invoke C dot multiply. Do you understand? After this, what I have to do? C dot multiply. Let me just invoke it for now. So I have to now do C dot multiply. C dot multiply of. See what I told you? These 2 objects have to pass as parameters. See, this object A and object B I have to pass as parameters. That is why I'm writing A comma B. Okay. And actually, we have not yet written the code. Let me just write it here. Then we'll fill it later. So this is going to be void multiply product A. These are objects. Product B. We'll perform the multiplication operation later. For that, we'll just invoke it and create it. Okay. You understand what we are doing here? I think you're able to understand. Okay. So perform multiplication. After this, what we'll do? After this, what we can do? Now the task is we have to now display first. We have to display the first matrix, then display second matrix, then display the resultant matrix. That's it. What you will do? System.out.println matrix A will be A dot display. So here display first matrix. Then what you do? System.out.println matrix B will be B dot display. Display second matrix. Then I'll go to another line. Then I will write resultant object, resultant matrix. Matrix C equal to AB. This is the multiplied result, correct? This is going to be C dot display. That's it. Display multiplied matrix. That's it. Then leave another line saying. Then finally I'll say bye. See, the finishing touch to the program. That's it. Okay. It's all about the multiplication program. Now the only task left is we have to write multiplication program. Okay. So till now, I think what I've told is very clear. So this is what we are doing. So I'll just do a revision. We'll create three. First of all, in one class, we have to create R to show rows, C to show columns, M to store matrix. We'll have a constructor product x, y. We'll have a feed function to get user input, display function to display the matrix, multiply function to perform multiplication, and main function. Okay, this has to be product A, product B. I forgot to update it here. And then we'll have a main function to do all the main works. Then I'll create three objects: object A, object B, object C. Then I'll create three objects like this. This is going to be actually, okay, this is actually going to be user input. Okay, it's not what I already know. This will be R1, C1. Then this will be R2, C2. This is going to be R1, C2. Then I'll do A dot feed. I'll feed this my object with values from user, and I'll then invoke this function B dot feed. I'll invoke this function and I'll fill this matrix, and then I invoke multiply function to multiply these two object matrix and store it in resultant matrix. Then I'll do A dot display, B dot display, C dot display, and then I will exit the program. Before doing all this, I also have to check if multiplication is not possible. If it's not possible, just tell it's not possible and goodbye. Okay, this is all about this function. Now the only task again left is writing the multiply function. Okay, let's see this function. Okay, let's now try to understand how to do this multiplication function. Okay, now let me go to Excel to make you understand. Okay, let's go to another sheet. Okay, listen very carefully. Let's take an example. Okay, it's said that one example is better than 1,000 words. So I will write an example. So let's take 1, 2, 7, 3, 4, 9. This is going to be first matrix. I'll take another matrix: 3, 6, 5, 8, 1, 2. Okay, so I'm having two matrices. See, this is going to be the matrix stored in object A. So this is going to be A dot M. Okay, this is going to be the matrix stored in object A. This is going to be the matrix stored in object B. So this is going to be B dot M. Okay, you get it? And let me just give a name to this. Okay, okay, just a minute. I'll write it here. This is going to be A dot M. This is going to be B dot M. Now I'll just give a naming. This is going to be 0th row, first row, 0th column, first column, second column. Yeah. Similarly for this is going to be 0th row, first row, second row. This will be 0th column. This will be first column. Okay. So I just given a name to rows and columns. So this is the nothing but always row number, column number. They have to start from 0 because that is how Java is programmed. Listen very carefully. How to find resultant matrix? What you have to do is, first of all, this is going to be a 2 into 3 matrix, correct? This is going to be a 3 into 2 matrix. So resultant matrix will obviously be a 2 into 2 matrix. Sorry. Yeah, it's going to be a 2. This is going to be nothing but this is going to be stored in C dot M. C dot M. So this will be 0, 1. This will be 0, 1. Okay. This is obviously going to be equal to a 2 into 2 matrix. Now, how to perform this multiplication operation? So I think before you come to this video, you know how to perform multiplication in mathematics. Okay, so what you have to do? Suppose we have to first of all understand that we are going to loop through this matrix. This is a matrix that we have to concentrate. See, now concentrate on this matrix. Please concentrate on this matrix. Now what you have to do is, now first you are going to come to this portion. Let us imagine you have come to this portion. This portion, I is going to be 0, j is going to be 0, correct? Row 0, column 0. When we come to 0, 0, first see I value. See I value. I is 0, correct? I is 0. If I is 0, you go to the first matrix, A dot M. Here, you now concentrate on the 0th row of this matrix. Okay? You have to concentrate on the 0th row of this matrix. Then what you do is, you see J number. J is 0, correct? You will concentrate on the 0th column of this matrix. You have to concentrate on the 0th column of this matrix. So this row and this column, we have to do some operation to get the element which has to come here. What we exactly have to do? Listen very carefully. I'll just write it separately. 1, 2, 7. Here 3, 5, 1. Correct? Now what you do is you multiply both of this. You'll get 3. You do multiplication of this. You'll get 10. You multiply both of this. You'll get 7. And if you add all these products, what you will get? I think you will get 20. This 20 you will write here. Get it? This 20 you will write here. This is the multiplied result. So like that for each place. Next, if you go here, it's going to be 1, 0. So you will take first row 1 of this, column 0 of this. You will do, this is SOP operation. This is nothing but SOP. What is the expression of SOP? Sum of product. See, I add all products, you're doing sum. This is sum of products. Okay. I think it's clear. Sum of products. That is only SOP. Yeah. So you have to keep on performing SOP operation. If you perform SOP, I think you will get 36 here. I had already calculated and kept it aside. You will get 38 here. Here you will get 68. Okay. Thing is that how we'll perform this operation? How we'll perform this operation? Let's try to understand. So as I told you, first what we have to do, we have to loop through this matrix. This matrix is the matrix that we have to concentrate. We have to loop through this matrix. Okay. Let's loop. Now what we have to do is, we don't have to write C dot M. If we just, now if I'm, suppose I'm writing M here, this M will refer to the M in the current object. See, now I am doing C dot multiply. Because I'm doing C dot multiply, suppose here I'm just writing M. This M is nothing but C dot M. I don't have to specifically write C dot M. This M will be all obviously C dot M. Okay. So if I just write M, M refers to C dot M. Similarly, R will refer to C dot R. I don't have to write specifically C dot R. Okay. So I just wanted to tell you that concept. Now what we have to do? We have to loop through this matrix. For int I is 0, I less than C, I plus plus. For int j is 0, j less than, oh sorry, what I'm doing? What am I doing? I less than R, this has to be I less than C, correct? J plus plus. Now look here. Row number is I. Column number is going to be J, okay? Now what I have to do is, I need to perform SOP, correct? I need to perform this SOP operation and store it here. Listen carefully what I'm going to do. Let's imagine now we have not written anything here. First, this position, first I'll initialize as 0. What I'm going to do? First, the position I have to initialize as 0. So what I'll do is, M of ij will be 0. First initialize as 0. See what I'm doing is, see, I am doing some, a product will be inside, but outside we have to write sum, correct? Finally, what we are doing? Finally, we are doing sum. In all the sum functions, see, in all sum programs, what you will do? You will initialize sum as 0, correct? Already sum of these programs, sum of elements of array program, whatever you are doing, you will initialize the sum variable as 0. Now the sum is stored in this position, correct? Sums are stored in the position. So we will initialize the position itself, the element of the position itself will initialize as 0 because this is acting like a sum variable. Okay. So the position will act as a sum variable. Is that clear? Okay. Now what we have to do is, observe carefully, we have to loop through this array. Let's try to loop through this array. Now, how many elements are there in this array? There's another concept which I have to tell you. Okay. See, in any matrix, just a minute. In a row, number of elements will be equal to col. Listen carefully. We are now looping through a row, correct? This is the row. How many elements are there in this row? 3, correct? What is this 3? 3 is nothing but number of columns. The opposite also holds true. In a column, number of elements will be number of rows. See, now we are looping through a column. How many elements are there in this column? 3. What is 3? 3 is number of rows. So in any matrix, in the row, number of elements will be number of columns of that matrix. In a column, number of elements is going to be number of rows of that matrix. Okay. So this is a very important concept that you will understand. Now what I'll do is, now I have to loop through this row. Correct? Now how do I loop through this row? I should know how many elements are there in this row, correct? How many elements are there in this row? Nothing but, what is this? Number of columns. What is this? This 3 is nothing but A dot C, correct? 3 is equal to A dot C. So what I'm going to do is inside this I'm going to write another loop. For int, let me keep the loop variable as k. K0, k less than a dot c. And I'll do k plus plus. Do you understand? So now I'm looping through this array. Try to understand this. If I'm looping through this array, see a dot, this will be a. Now this 3 is going to be equal to b dot r. Now only if these two are same, we can perform multiplication. This is the condition I told you in the beginning. Now do you understand why it has to be same? Because when we are looping, only if there are equal number of elements in both these arrays, we will get sum. We will get sum. Suppose we are having one array, we are having 1, 2, another array, we are having 6, 7 and 8. This will become 6, this will become 14. What should I write here? What should I write here? I don't even have an element here. How can I perform multiplication? That is why A dot C should be equal to B dot R. Only then these two matrices we can, these two arrays we can write like this separately and we can perform product, then finally sum. That is why A dot C has to be equal to B dot R. So here I can write A dot C. If I want, I can write B dot R also. Okay. Both are going to be the same. Only if both are same, I can even write this. I can even perform multiplication operation. You get it? Okay. Now what we are going to do is, now we are looping through both these arrays simultaneously. Okay. You understand? We are looping through both these arrays simultaneously. So this is going to be represented by k variable. Now here in this position, k will be 0, here k will be 1, k will be 2. Okay. This is going to be k variables. Listen very carefully. Now imagine now we are k at 0. First we need to get 1. When we are looping through a row, listen carefully. When we are looping through a row number is always constant. Column number keeps changing. When we are looping through this row, very carefully listen. Let me write int. Let me write int as int. In what I can give name to this int m. Int m. Int m will be. Listen very carefully. I have to now concentrate on matrix A dot m. Correct? A dot m. Inside this, I am now looping through this row. In this row number is always constant. What is the row number? Row number is 0. What is 0? 0 is only I value. See, I told you right. 0, 0 means this is I. This 0. Because this is 0 only we have come here. So this is nothing but I. So the row number of this is equal to I. So row number will always be I. Column number is going to change. For column number only we have written this k variable. Here, for this, k is equal to column number. See, when k is 0, column 0. K is 1, column 1. K is 2, column 2. Okay? You understand? That is the writing. Now, what is this variable m? M is we are storing this. M will be 1. Understand? This is the meaning of variable m. Next, I have to write variable n. For variable n, what I'm going to do is, and now I have to concentrate on this matrix. See this matrix. This matrix, this is going to be n variable. What I'm going to do is, how to get this n variable? I have to first concentrate on b dot m. So I write b dot m first. B dot m. Here, see, row number is changing, correct? We are looping through a column. So what is the column? Column is going to be j. See, this j is the column number. We are seeing this j. J is in this position. It is going to be 0, 0. This j is 0. Let's say we have come to 0th column. So the column number is always j. Column number is always j. The row number is changing here. See, if k is 0, we are in row 0. If k is 1, we are in row 1. If k is 2, we are in row 2. So k number is going to change. Okay, k number is going to change. This is going to be, so this is going to be m value, this is going to be n value. So this will be m value, this will be n value. This will be m value, this will be n value. So what I have to do? I have to perform product, correct? I have to perform, let me write as P. Product will be m into n. First you perform product. Then what you have to do? This product, all the products you have to add, correct? Suppose it was a sum variable, you would have written s equal to s plus p. If it is a sum variable, if it is sum variable. But here I am going to get error because I have not declared any sum variable. Instead, what is the sum variable? Sum variable is this position, correct? Sum variable itself is this position. So this sum variable, this m of ij, instead of s, let us m of ij. M of ij equal to, m of ij plus p. I can just write like this. I can use special operator. I can write like this. So keep adding product to position to element at position ij. Is it clear? Let me just give an example. Let us imagine we are in this position. Now, first of all, we'll initialize to 0. We'll initialize to 0. Now, when we are here, when k is 0, m will be 1, n will be 3. Product will come as 3. This is p. Product will be 3. Here also, product will be 10. Here, product will be 7. Now, we will do m. The operation we are performing is m of ij. Okay, oh, sorry, just 1 minute. We are performing m of ij plus equal to p. This is the operation we are performing, correct? Let me write it here. So what we are doing? It is 0. Now add this 3 here. 3. When it is coming as 10, add this 10 here. It becomes 13. When you are here, add this 7 here. It becomes 20. See, finally it becomes 20. This is the result that we required, correct? This is the result that we are expecting. See, it is now filled as 20. So when we keep on performing this operation, after this for loop finishes, this will become 20. This is exactly what we wanted. Exactly what we wanted. That's all. Then next time, when it comes to this position, it will be 1, 0. Then that time we will concentrate on this. We will be concentrating on this and this. This will be leaving. Similarly, we will write this like this, we'll write this, we'll write this, we'll perform SOP, and when we fill this position, what we'll get? I think we will be getting, what will we be getting? Just multiply and see. Yeah, we'll be getting 36. Here we'll be getting 38. And here we'll be getting 68. And finally, this will be stored in, because we are invoking this function from object C, we are invoking this function from object C. That is why that this m will get modified, and the multiplication result of this m will be stored in this m. This m and this m will get multiplied and get stored in this m. And finally, we have already written display function. See, so when it multiplies, multiplied result will get stored in C matrix. Then A matrix gets displayed, B matrix gets displayed, C matrix gets displayed, and finally we let bye bye. That's it. The program is over. I hope you understand how I did this entire program. We are having product function, feed function, then we are having display function, we are having multiply function, we are having finally main function. Okay. So shall we see a test of this function? Shall we try to run this program and see? Okay, let's try to run this function and see. Yeah, enter number of rows of first matrix. Let's take the example that we did now. We will take this example itself because we already know the result. We'll check the result is true or not. So number of rows of first matrix, we have tried 2 and 3, correct? So this is this. I'll just maximize it. Yeah, 2, 3. Number of rows of second matrix is 3, 2. Now matrix A, enter element at position 0, 0. Let me just give the matrix as input. What is the matrix input? I have to write 1. Next will be 2, 7, 2, 7. Then it's going to be 3, 4, 9. 3, 4, 9. Oops, just a minute. I'm sorry, just a minute, 1 minute. Okay, we have successfully finished all the codings. So let's now run the program. Okay, and I forgot to tell you, see, initially I had written sc.close, but if you write sc.close at the end of this first feed function, we are invoking this sc.feed, a.feed, correct? Here this is scanner class will get closed and we will not be able to input any value for v. So I had not realized at the time when I told you to close it. So it's better you don't close the scanner class, just keep it open. Okay, it's no necessary to close it. So I think this is all what we are done. Okay, now let's just run this function. Let's just run this program. Okay. Right, nice. Let's run this. Enter number of rows of first matrix 2. Enter number of columns of first matrix 3. Enter number of rows of second matrix 3. Enter number of columns of second matrix 2. Let's perform. I think it's going to be 1, 2, 7, 3, 4, 9. For second matrix 3, 6, 5, 8, 1, 2. Just look at how it is. See, Matrix A, this is a matrix A. Matrix P, this is matrix P. Finally, showing the resultant matrix. See, it is performing multiplication and it's showing the resultant matrix. Finally, it's saying bye bye. That's it. This is how Java multiplication program is done. Shall we see another example? Yeah, we'll see another example. This time I'll show you how error will come. Imagine I'm telling one matrix has dimension 3 into 5. Let's take another matrix as dimension 4 into 3. Look at the error. Multiplication is not possible as the number of columns of the first matrix must be equal to the number of rows of the second matrix. So multiplication is not possible. Bye bye. And because we had put system.exit, directly will exit the program in the middle itself. It won't go till the end. That's it. This is how Java multiplication program works. I hope you're clear. We'll see another last example. We'll just give some random values. Let's multiply with unit matrix and see. Okay, so it's very interesting. Let's take a 3 into 4 matrix. And what we can take? Oh, I'm sorry, unit matrix doesn't work. Okay, let me do another time. Yeah, unit matrix, you have to have a square matrix. Let's take some square matrix. 5 into 5. This also let me 5 into 5. Let me just write some values. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25. Now I'm going to enter a unit matrix. Unit matrix means it has only ones in the diagonal. What is the meaning of unit matrix? I think you all have studied. See, unit matrix, 5 into 5 unit matrix means 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, or other as 0. Or other places you will have 0. This is the meaning of unit matrix. Sorry, 1 minute. Yeah. This is unit matrix. The unit 5 into 5 matrix. If any matrix is multiplied by this, it will be equal to the original matrix. Let's check this property. What we are going to do? How to input this matrix? You have to write. Let me just input this matrix for you. 1 followed by 4 zeros. 2, 3, 4. Next you will have 0, then 1 followed by 3 zeros. 1, 2, 3. Then we'll have 0, 0, 0, 0, 1, 0, 0. Then we'll have 0, 0, 0, 1, 0. 3 zeros and 1, then 0. Then we'll have 4 zeros and then 1. 1, 0, 2, 3, 4, and 1. That's it. Okay. That's it. Just see. This is the original matrix. We are multiplying. This is the unit matrix. See, we are getting back the same matrix. Is there any modification? They are getting back the same matrix. So, I have also proved the property, that is, when you multiply matrix with unit matrix, you'll get back the same matrix. So, this shows that the Java program was completely valid. There was no error in this. This is how you do Java matrix multiplication. My name is Prajwal Sundar. If you like this video, please like, share, and subscribe to my channel for more such content. We'll be discussing a lot of such programs, and I'll make you fall in love with computing. Okay? Bye-bye.